So on the last video, I had completed my rainwater collection system with gravity-fed filtration. The only problem was that it hadn't rained and I had no water to test the system out. Thanks to a few days of rain, fast forward 3 weeks later and the trees are now all green with spring in the air. It appears the gutters and downspouts did their job, the main barrel is full, so let's go ahead and test the system out. Will there be enough gravity-fed pressure to push the water through the filtration system? Before we find out, let's do a quick review of the system I installed. For the gutters, I just used standard 5-inch aluminum gutters from my local Home Depot. Two 10-foot sections with an outer corner seam cost me around $40. That included all the mounting brackets as well. To protect the gutters from tree debris, leaves, and anything else that clogs gutters, I purchased basic aluminum gutter guards. I like the smaller holes and smooth metal design compared to some of the other mesh options that look like they would catch more debris and have to be cleaned more frequently. For my downspout, I chose to use 3-inch PVC and spray painted it to match the color of the cabin. The 3-inch size was needed to work with the First Flish Diverter and additional downspout filter, which you will see here. The question I got on the last video was why did I run the gutters back towards the cabin instead of away from it? The reason was the placement of the rain barrels. I wanted the barrels under the cabin to protect them from the weather and also needed them as high as possible so that they would gravity feed the filtration system. The flow of the water in the gutters towards the cabin really didn't concern me much since the water can't really escape the pipes. The First Flush Diverter I used was a simple auto-draining system that features a slow release valve which drains the chamber while in use. The initial dirty water fills the chamber, causing the ball to rise, and then diverts the clean water to the rain barrels. I calculated I needed about 3 foot of pipe for my diverter based on my roof size. I'll include a link to this particular diverter in the video description if you want to install this one yourself. The rain barrels I used were two 50-gallon barrels that were linked together at the top with tubing, so when the main barrel gets filled, it flows to the second barrel, giving me 100 gallons total. Both barrels have overflow openings at the center top of them if too much rain occurs as well. Both of these barrels are BPA free, but aren't technically rated for drinking water. That's why I wanted to put in a 3-stage filter that would ensure any water I get from the barrels would be suitable for drinking. The barrels would be installed high enough to gravity feed the filtration system. The first filter is for sediment. The second filter is activated carbon for VOCs. The third filter is CTO carbon for pesticides and industrial solvents. Since this rainwater collection system had a lot of aluminum, plastics, tubing, and other materials, I wanted to make sure that the filtration system was robust enough to filter all of that out, not to mention all of the contaminants they're spraying in the skies that come down in the rain itself. The blue hose after the filtration system is a drinking water safe RV hose. Now for the moment we've been waiting for. Will the system actually work? Let's turn the spigot on and see what happens. It looks like there's just enough pressure for the water to make it through the filters to the blue RV hose. While the water makes it through and drains out, I'm going to go ahead and grab a clear glass to fill up so I can see if there's any floaters or particles in the water. It looks pretty good to me, so I think I'll take a swig and see how it tastes. It's actually not bad at all. Tastes somewhat similar to the well water at my house. At the very least, this water will be safe for bathing, washing clothes, dishes, and whatever else. For drinking, I'll probably still run it through my Berkey just to be on the safe side. So overall, I think the system is a success. I'm sure I'll have to tweak it some as I go. I'll definitely have to get the underneath of the cabin closed in and insulated before winter to prevent any freezing of the filters or pipes from occurring. Next thing on the never-ending project list is tapping a ground spring. Now that my rainwater system is pretty much done, I want to make sure I have an alternate water source. Some folks say that spring water is the best kind of water you can get, even better than well water. I've got 3 creeks on my property, so I knew at some point I would stumble upon a spring. Little did I know it would be at the very back, near where I plan to build my log cabin. I've done a little research over the past few weeks on tapping a spring and knew I would need some type of hard plastic to create a dam. Good thing I had an extra barrel left over from my rainwater project. Probably not the best idea to cut up a $90 barrel, but it was the only thing I had that would work. It will probably have to be cut to size at the spring location, so I'm planning to take both pieces with me to be safe. Along with the plastic dam, another component of tapping a spring is PVC pipe in an intersection that's perforated to allow the water to enter and then exit out of the discharge pipe. I really have no idea about the flow rate and pressure at this point, but I'm drilling some holes anyway. Gotta start somewhere. I'm just doing a basic single pipe setup to see how it works out. If you haven't seen my series on building a bridge, I'd encourage you to check it out. It's pretty rock solid, at least so far. This is my first trip over the bridge and up the hill with cargo in the gator. I've got probably close to 200 pounds of stone loaded up. Overall, wasn't too bad getting to the top of the hill. Look, it's a racing squirrel. So here we are at the future cabin site. This is way at the back of my property and no neighbors anywhere close. It's at the top of a small ridge flanked by a wet weather creek and a spring-fed creek where I plan to tap the spring. Because the terrain is so rough and I really won't be able to haul materials to it, I'm going to have to build a genuine log cabin using trees from the land. This future build will really be a stretch for me because I like things square, and trees aren't square. The previous cabin I built was all 2x8 dimensional lumber with square edges everywhere. That won't be the case with this build. I plan to dig a root cellar first, assuming I don't hit solid rock. Once the root cellar is finished, I plan to build the log cabin over top of it. So here we are at the ground spring site. You can kind of see a little bit of water flow coming from the rock. It's time to get busy digging. I'm really hoping that once I start digging, that I hit solid rock underneath all of the silt and sand. From what I've researched, it's best to dig a trench to let the water escape away downhill and hopefully take away all the dirt and mud with it. One of the things I have planned for this site is a deck with a wood-fired hot tub overlooking the waterfall that is fed by the spring. It's a nice plan, only if I can get the spring tapped and operational. And there it is, the solid rock bottom I was hoping to find. Good thing I brought some hydrostatic cement with me. It's gonna be needed. Fortunately for me, the width of the barrel was exactly what I needed. However, I am going to need to trim the height since I plan to cover the spring once it's completed. I decided to use the current barrel as a form and a guide to build a mini dam using hydrostatic cement. This stuff dries quick. I'm probably going to bring more next time and seal some of the inside. This will at least give me an idea of how much water the dam will hold and what the pressure looks like. I think that the amount of water it's holding looks pretty good. I should be able to get decent flow out of that once it's tapped with a pipe. Somehow, I brought the wrong drill bit with me and wouldn't have been able to tap the dam even if I wanted to. So we're just gonna have to wait until next time. If you have any experience tapping a spring, please leave me some feedback or comments. I really would like to know what you think. I really have no experience at all with this. However, I am encouraged by the clarity of the water and the potential flow rate. I'd really like to thank all of my viewers that support this channel. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so and hit the notification so you know when the new videos are out. Also, please let me know what you think of the format of this video with more narration. I may do more of this in the future if enough folks like it.